and gentlemen, last evening I interviewed the man of the moment in Indian politics, Chief Minister of India's largest state, Uttar Pradesh, who has been hogging all the headlines for the policies initiated by his government. Among many questions that I posed to him, I quizzed him the most on the draft population bill that he proposes to bring into the state. It's a matter of fact that Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state with 24 crore population, has always faced the challenge of allocation of welfare schemes for all just because its population is just too large. Yogi Adityanath, who claims that there is an imbalance in demography of the state, faced some straight questions from me on this bill, which is now turned controversial thanks to the opposition raising questions. Before I begin the debate that is being hotly contested in political circles, especially in Uttar Pradesh, here's what Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh told me last night. आपने वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन डे पर कहा है कि एक पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी आनी चाहिए, जो हर समय बहुत से लोगों ने कहा है कि ये होना चाहिए क्योंकि हमारे डेवलपमेंट के साधन लिमिटेड हैं और जब तक हमारी जनसंख्या पर नियंत्रण नहीं होगा हम ये साधन हर आदमी के लिए पूरा नहीं कर पाएंगे। लेकिन जब योगी आदित्यनाथ ये बात कहते हैं तो लोग कहते हैं कि ये चुनाव से पहले पोलराइजेशन की बात है। समाजवादी पार्टी ने भी आज ये कहा है, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने भी ये बात कही है और एंटायर ऑपोजिशन इस पर यूनाइटेड है कि आपने पोलराइजेशन की शुरुआत कर दी है वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन डे पे पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी के थ्रू।
देखिए, आज विश्व जनसंख्या दिवस है। अगर इस दिवस की मंतव्य के अनुरूप सरकार कोई पॉलिसी लेकर के आती है, पहली बार नहीं आई है, हर 10 वर्ष के लिए सरकार की एक पॉलिसी सामने आती है। इससे पहले भी आई थी। ये जनसंख्या नीति 2021 से 30 की है यूपी गवर्नमेंट की। ये पोलराइजेशन नहीं है, ये शासन की नीति है कि सबको सुरक्षा और सबका विकास।
लेकिन योगी जी, लोगों का कहना है कि आप खास करके मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ ये कदम उठा रहे हैं।
देखिए, हम लोग किसी व्यक्ति, जाति, मत या मजहब को टारगेट करने की हमारी कोई मंशा नहीं है। प्रदेश के 24 करोड़ जनता के जीवन में खुशहाली लाना, उनके सुख और समृद्धि के लिए और प्रदेश के संसाधनों का भरपूर उपयोग उन लोगों तक पहुंचाया जा सके, शासन की ये मंशा है, किसी वर्ग विशेष को टारगेट करने का नहीं। समस्या ये है कि जिन लोगों की सोच संकीर्ण है तो अपने उस संकीर्ण दायरे में रहकर के उसी प्रकार के वक्तव्य भी देते हैं, उस प्रकार की बातें भी करते हैं। सरकार की धारणा बहुत स्पष्ट है, हमें 24 करोड़ लोगों के हितों को ध्यान में रख करके अपने कार्य योजना को आगे बढ़ाना है और 24 करोड़ लोगों के ही हितों को ध्यान में रख करके सरकार प्रत्येक की सुरक्षा के लिए, प्रत्येक की समृद्धि के लिए पूरी प्रतिबद्धता के साथ कार्य कर रही है। देखिए, एक चीज़ हमें सोचना होगा कि रिलीजियस डेमोग्राफी का इम्बैलेंस ये हमेशा एक खतरे की घंटी होगी और हर एक तबके को इसके बारे में सोचना होगा। इसको हमें हल्केपन से नहीं लेना होगा। लेकिन जनसंख्या स्थिरीकरण की दिशा में जो इस समय प्रयास प्रारंभ हुए हैं, ये एक सकारात्मक सोच के साथ प्रारंभ हो रहे हैं।
Here's why there is an uproar from the opposition quarters on this bill. If a couple has more than 2 children, they cannot avail welfare schemes of the state. The same family's ration card units will be limited to 4 members of the family even if they have more children. They will not be able to contest elections in the local body polls, nor can they apply for government jobs in the future, and if they are already in one, they will not be eligible for promotions if they have more than 2 children. That is what this draft policy proposes. And what it goes on to say, there is a flip side in this bill. To people with single children, there will be incentives. The government promises multiple perks, including insurance cover, additional increments during their service, preference for school admissions, even free education till graduation level, scholarships in case higher studies for a girl child, and of course, preferences coming up in government jobs. But when you go a little deeper into this bill, that's where the contentious parts really come up. The policy has references to polygamous marriages and chooses to disincentivize the couple who have more than 2 kids. This ensures that the husband will be precluded from getting any benefits. The opposition parties are quick to call this bill as directed towards Muslim and a totally anti-Muslim bill. Here's how the opposition parties reacted on this draft population bill.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी और आरएसएस से जुड़े हुए तमाम नेताओं के ऐसे बयान हैं जो अक्सर पेशतर ये देखने को मिला कि कभी कहते हैं मुसलमान बच्चे ज़्यादा पैदा करते हैं, कभी कहते हैं मुसलमान आबादी बढ़ा रहे हैं, कभी कहते हैं कि मुसलमान इतनी आबादी बढ़ा लेंगे कि वो देश पे काबिज हो जाएंगे, कभी कहते हैं हिंदुओं होशियार हो जाओ, तुमको सत्ता से बेदखल कर दिया जाएगा। कभी किसी मुसलमान ने ये बात कही कि कोई हिंदू आबादी बढ़ा रहा है?
देखिए, पॉपुलेशन बिल ला रहे हैं, अभी तक क्यों नहीं लेके आए थे? 4.5 साल हो गए, अब तक कहाँ से? इलेक्शन आते आते हैं पॉपुलेशन बिल, और फिर उसके बाद उसको हिंदू मुस्लिम में तब्दील करना, ये सिर्फ इलेक्शन स्टंट्स हैं। अगर ये बराबर सब पे लागू नहीं हुआ तो इसका हम पुरजोर विरोध करेंगे।
ये बिल गरीबों को अपनी गरीबी की सज़ा देने वाली बिल है। ये बच्चों के अधिकारों के ऊपर एक ज़बरदस्त हमला है, ये महिलाओं के अधिकारों के ऊपर भी हमला है। तो इसलिए ये बिल्कुल गलत बिल है और हम इसका विरोध करते हैं।
इनकी मनसा जाहिर होने के बाद हम इस पर प्रतिक्रिया जाहिर करेंगे। जहाँ तक वो लोगों की पोर्टल पर राय मांग रहे हैं तो पहले अपनी पार्टी में मांग लें, अपने नेताओं से बात कर लें जो 10 बच्चे पैदा करने को 12 बच्चे और 5 बच्चे पैदा करने की बात कर रहे हैं, वो हमसे क्या पूछ रहे हैं?
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the news hour tonight is just one. At a time when we know our population is getting out of hand, is the opposition selectively reading the Abadi bill? That's the question and the debate. Yogi Chhota Parivar perk. That's the debate and the debate on the other side. And joining me tonight on this big debate, Dr. Sombit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate. Also with me, Mr. Waris Pathan, representing the AIMIM, Ashutosh, senior journalist. But my first question goes to Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, who is the national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And I want to ask you, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, आपको नहीं लगता कि हमारी जनसंख्या is an issue that we should be looking at very closely? Don't you feel that the population, the way it is growing, is going to put and is already putting pressure on our resources? And there is a need to relook at the population policy on bringing awareness on the issue of population control. And this draft bill, it's not an act, it's not a law yet. It's a draft bill that has been put out for public comments and to get reactions and suggestions from people. Why would you want to oppose this? Why would you want to call it anti-Muslim at a time when population should be every single policy maker's big worry at this time?
Good evening, Anita ji, to you, my fellow co-panelists and your viewers. I'll make 3 quick points. One, on February 4, 2020, in Rajya Sabha, Ashwini Chaubey, the then Minister of State for Health, spoke about how fantastically the national population policy formulated in year 2000 is working under this government, that the total fertility rate has declined from 2.9 in 2005 to 2.2 in 2017. 25 of 37 states have already achieved replacement level fertility rate. as well as decadal growth is down, and there are multiple things he quoted. In December 2020, this government told the High Court, Delhi High Court, in a petition filed by Ashwini Upadhyay, that their population policy, the national population policy, is perfect. It does not believe in coercion. It believes in certain measures, and that measures are built on good research. In February 2021, once again, the PRB publishes a detailed report on what are the measures that the government has taken with respect to new contraceptive choices, postpartum IUCD, National Family Planning Indemnity Scheme, family planning logistics, etc. The fourth point is that let me take out from the dustbin the 2017 Sankalp Patra of Bharatiya Janata Party that they have forgotten in Uttar Pradesh. On page 17 of that Sankalp Patra, they mention about what they are going to do for women. That they are going to provide every daughter in Uttar Pradesh a certain bond when she is, and the things that they will take as measures for her education. Women education is the foundation of population policy world over, not just in India. This government has thrown its own Sankalp Patra in dustbin. They take out the propaganda. The propaganda does not even look at government's own policy. There's something called SIFSA under Uttar Pradesh government. In 2014, there's a letter that is there in SIFSA, which is State Innovations in Family Planning Services and Project Agency. The SIFSA clearly states that how the entire population policy in Uttar Pradesh is consistently revised. It has several secretaries of the government signed. So a government that does not look at its own Sankalp Patra, does not look at its own agency, is contradicting its own center, is today saying that opposition ये कह रहा है, opposition वो कह रहा है. अरे आपने कहा था कि जून तक 1 करोड़ लोगों को रोजगार देंगे, आप वो नहीं दे पाए. This government has not fulfilled a single promise. They can say 2020, 2030, 2040, it does not matter. Government formed on propaganda will not fulfill any promise.
Dr. Patra, Ghanshyam Tiwari's charge at the BJP is that instead of focusing on education, you have come up with a draft bill that relies more on coercion. And that is a position that is completely opposite to what the position the centre has taken through its own affidavit in the Supreme Court last year. I want to ask you, there have been several attempts by several members of parliament to bring in a population control bill as a private member's bill in parliament, and it has never seen the light of day. Today, I want to ask you, is Yogi Adityanath, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh's bill in sync with the BJP's policy at a party level at the centre? You have to settle that, otherwise people will charge you that this is a pre-poll gimmick that is being put out by the UP government.
See, Navika, what determines this policy is the national birth rate average. And look, the national birth rate average, as far as the national average is concerned, as far as the Uttar Pradesh average is concerned, they are different. If you would visit the sample registration survey, the SRS, you will find that as far as the national birth rate average is concerned, in 2016, it decreased from 20.4 to 20.2. So nationally, we have achieved what we really want to achieve. But as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, what is the average? It has decreased from 26.2 to 25.9 in 2017. So as far as the average national birth rate of Uttar Pradesh is concerned, it is quite high from what the national average is. So of course, stabilization of a population, stabilization of the demography in Uttar Pradesh is of prime importance. So there is no contradiction as far as the vision of the government of India and the vision of the government of Uttar Pradesh is concerned, scientifically, number one. Number two, I'm astonished. As far as this victim card is concerned, I mean, there's always a victim card to pull out, be it the national policy. I mean, over here, what we're talking about is a draft policy. It's just a draft. It has been posted for public consumption till 19th of this month. People from any hue and any walk of life, from any political ideology can comment on that, give their suggestions, and only then a proper policy would be drawn out of it. So it's not a law as yet. It is just in the stage of discussion and debate, number one. Be it in the population or be it in terrorism. Today we had all kind of, muck flying high just because 2 terrorists have been arrested in Uttar Pradesh. So you see a Muslim angle in terrorism, you see a Muslim angle in population. So why this victim card is my question. Is it not the goal of the sustainable development goals of United Nations in 2019 that we have to control population, we have to stabilize population if we really want to achieve the 17 sustainable development goals? And every country which is signatory to it is supposed to stabilize its population, and that's what we are supposed to do. So why a hue and cry on a scientific step that the government of Uttar Pradesh is taking is my question.
My quick rebuttal is-
Mr. Waris Pathan, it's a very valid point that has been raised by Dr. Sambit Patra. And what is religion got to do with it? आपको टेरर के केस में तो आपको लगता है कि ये एंटी माइनॉरिटी है, आप पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसी देखते हैं तो आपको लगता है एंटी मुस्लिम है. कोई बात अगर शुरू करें, whether it is dealing with terror, whether it is dealing with the pressing problem of a rising population, you always bring in religion into it. I want to ask you, Mr. Waris Pathan, is it not true that resources are limited, and if the population growth continues without any measures being taken today, the resources will fall very, very short of what the state's population will be, and therefore it's not just Uttar Pradesh. It has to be a policy that has to be a priority policy for every ruling government in every part of the country where the growth rates in population are higher than the national average. It's a compulsion, sir.
Well, Navika, the BJP wants to polarize the elections by targeting the marginalized and minorities by bringing the population control bill. Let me give you a figure. According to the report published by National Family Health Survey in 2015 to 2016, 83% of women with more than 2 children in India are Hindus and only 13% are Muslims. But the BJP wants to divert the mind of the nation from the basic issues. This is a divisive politics and tactics being used by the BJP because the people of the country are asking them questions. People are asking the questions about the rise of the petrol, diesel, gas price. What will happen to them? When will that be stabilized? They don't have any answer. People are posing questions regarding the failure of the Modi government and the Yogi government vis-a-vis the corona time. People are asking them questions regarding the vaccination. They don't have any answers to the questions. To divert the mind of the nation from these basic questions, they have come up with a population control bill. Well, just give me 10 seconds.
You are a lawyer.
Yeah.
Explain to me where does this draft law say that this will not be applicable to Hindu women and Hindu families and it will be only applicable to Muslim families? Why are you creating a distinction if what you are saying is the situation in Uttar Pradesh
Well,
that
in a
Hindu
matter
women
before the
are
Honorable Supreme
producing more
Court,
children
in a Family Welfare Association case, the Union government filed an affidavit before the Honorable Supreme Court stating that we are not against the Population Control Act and the couples have a right to go as per their wishes. You cannot force the couple to have 2 children or 3 children. Now they file an affidavit before the Honorable Supreme Court, and now here Yogi comes up with a bill 2020, 2030, whatever they may say. But the main question...
Why are you changing the goalpost? Why are you changing the goalpost? I'm asking you, Mr. Waris Pathan, I'm asking you a straight question. I am asking you a straight question. Does the draft law ever say that this will be applicable only to Muslim women and not to Hindu women? I'm asking you that question, yes or no?
Well, let us see the bill. No. Because Yogi has said he will be implementing.
Then why are you calling it polarization? Why are you calling it polarization if it does not distinguish between Hindu women and Muslim women? Why are you calling it a method of polarization by the Yogi government in Uttar Pradesh? Your charge falls flat.
Well,
Sir,
No.
This is a draft bill, number one.
See, Navika,
your reaction to this still can be given. I am only saying you are calling it polarizing. Explain to me, why is it polarizing? Is it because Hindu women will be subject to different laws and Muslim women will be subject to different laws? मुझे इतना समझा दीजिए, बाकी बातें मेरी समझ में आ गई. ये बात जो आपने polarization का charge लगाया है, ये मुझे समझा दीजिए.
Muslims are giving birth to many children and because of them there are limited resources, and I have also argued the limited resources are removed because
if it is not a fact,
of the wealth
if it is not a fact, then they will not be impacted. What's the big deal? What's the big deal?
You allow me to make my point, Navika. See,
Navika,
intervening will not help. I am making a very important
Dr.
point.
Patra,
Now it
Dr.
comes to
Patra
resources.
rebutting you. Dr.
Why there
Patra.
are less resources? Because the distribution of the resources are not equal.
I'll just take 10 seconds,
22%
Varish
of
bhai,
the
if you
upper
allow me,
caste
please.
Hindus are having 44% wealth of the countries. It is because of whom? Now they are charging leveling allegations that Muslims is what? Those their own
Navika,
leaders, their own Maharaj,
I'll
they have
just
come
speak for 10
and they've
seconds.
said,
Allow
10
me,
बच्चे
Varish
पैदा
bhai,
करो,
allow me.
15 बच्चे
Navika,
पैदा
I'm
करो.
astonished.
Now what
Varish
happened to
Pathan
that?
Varish
begins
Pathan
with
ji,
the
सुन
statement
तो
that
लीजिए।
83% of
That is why I
women.
say, to divert
डॉक्टर
the mind of
पात्रा
the
कह रहे हैं
Varishji
उनका
should
शोषण
not
हो
be
रहा
raising
है,
issues
आप
the
उनको
country is
बोलने
facing.
नहीं दे रहे
And the
हैं।
youth is asking,
बोलने
the
दीजिए ना,
BJP has come out with the
डॉक्टर
population
पात्रा को
assessment
1
bill.
मिनट के लिए तो बोलने दीजिए। वकील साहब 1 मिनट बोलने दीजिए डॉक्टर साहब को। बोलिए डॉक्टर साहब।
Thank you, Varish bhai. See, Varish bhai begins by stating that 83% of women who bear more than 2 children, in fact, are Hindus. And astonishingly, then he starts defining as to how, in fact, the most affected by this policy, or subsequently, if the policy becomes law, would be the Muslims. How come? If your data suggests that most of the Hindu women bear more children than any other, women of Muslim community, Sikh community, etc., etc., so why should you be worrying, and why should you be in fact categorizing this policy right now, draft policy, or the law in the future as a polarizing one, since it has nothing to do with the Muslims by means of any kind of mention in the draft itself that Muslim community would be discriminated, or as you suggest that Muslims don't bear so many children, it is the Hindus who are propagating this. So why should you be worried is my question.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Ashutosh, I want to get in Ashutosh. Ashutosh, either this entire law is polarizing because it targets Muslims, because Muslims are producing more children average, on an average, rather than Hindu families. Either that is correct, or this law will have an adverse impact on Hindu families and their freedom, and it will be coercive to Hindu families and not really to Muslim families. Which of these two facts are correct as far as Mr. Varish Pathan is concerned? Because he's claiming victimhood in both these aspects. Ashutosh ji.
No, I'm not going to respond to what Varish Pathan is saying because I have a different take on this. And why I have a different take? There is a reason behind it. I think RSS has to come out openly and to say whether they believe in the two child policy or not. Or they believe in the family planning or not. Because I very distinctly remember the RSS chief, Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, and other the top RSS leaders had said the Hindus should produce more children. And why so? Because Muslims are producing more kids, and that has been a narrative with the RSS since 1925 onwards has been laying on in this country. So they believe that is where they create that the Hindu खतरे में क्यों हिंदू खतरे में क्योंकि मुसलमान ज़्यादा बच्चे पैदा करते हैं, मुसलमानों की आबादी बहुत तेजी के साथ बढ़ रही है और एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब हिंदुस्तान में मुसलमानों का शासन होगा. So from where now the RSS has to come out and say whether they really believe into this, and Vishwa Hindu Parishad has given a very has given the initial response. That's the point number one. The point number two, I think the Varish Pathan and the Muslims have nothing to worry about it. They should not worry about it. Because this population, this policy, if at all comes into an existence, this will be mostly anti-Hindu and anti-Hindu women. Why I am saying so? Because you see the rate of the female infanticide. The rate of female infanticide among the literate Hindus is much higher, which has created a gender imbalance. And so, if suppose in a family like ours, where the female will be more traumatized, more pressurized to produce sons, not girls, and that will be I dread to think what will happen, and this has happened in the South.
Ishkaran Bhandari. So even Ashutosh feels there is nothing polarizing about this policy because this will impact Hindus more than it will impact Muslim families. So why is the Samajwadi Party and why is the AIMIM seeing a plot in this policy by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath?
Navika, if you wear green glasses, the whole world appears green, and they have victimhood lenses and then a green glass. What is amusing is 83% of Hindu women, as per the data given by Mr. Pathan, have more than 2 children. Ashutosh comes and says this policy will be anti the stand of RSS. So are they trying to make a case that Yogi Adityanath is anti-Hindu? Because if it is going to affect Hindu women more, it is going to affect Hindu families more, then they must be happy, because their stand says that Yogi Adityanath only makes laws for Hindus. This is, as per their argument, a measure which will affect Hindus more. And VHP has also come out and said they are not in favor of one-child norm. So is Yogi Nath anti-Hindu? Is that their stand? And should we answer that? But let me come to the serious point. India is about 2% of the world's landmass and almost 20% of the world's population. That obviously is the imbalance which will affect every generation and keep us in poverty. All that has happened right now is a draft bill. A proposal has come out on which we need to have a debate. Unfortunate part is that even a proposal is being colored with the green lens of victimhood, and that is why India is suffering. And one last point. India was the first developing
Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, on this debate itself, it has been proven that if anything, this draft bill is going to be anti-Hindu and not anti-Muslim. So why is the Samajwadi Party, why is Mr. Owaisi's party making this out to be a polarizing part? Why are they targeting Yogi Adityanath, making him the face of so-called communal politics through this bill? I can't understand this, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Well, Navika ji, when people were denied beds and oxygen, that was anti-Hindu. When lakhs and crores of youth are unemployed, that is also anti-Hindu. If there is an anti-Hindu by measure of how people, every family has seen Buredin under Modi Raj and Yogi Raj, this is the most anti-Hindu government. But forget that anti-Hindu or anti-Muslim. The point of the matter is that Dr. Sambit Patra did not respond to the contradiction between the two policies. My final question before I leave is that can Ishkaran Bhandari or Dr. Sambit Patra or anyone with any research can say one paper that this policy quotes either from Niti Aayog or from RSS or from BJP rule state, the policy doesn't have a foundation of any white paper. India has a population policy since 1952. We were one of the first countries.
Okay, but before you leave, before I get Dr. Patra to answer that, before you leave, I want to ask you Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari जी, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि इसमें एंटी मुस्लिम क्या है? क्या ये मुसलमानों पर लागू होगा, हिंदुओं पर नहीं, इसलिए ये आप एंटी हिंदू कह रहे हैं? और ऑलरेडी नंबर्स जो दिखाए हैं वारिस पठान साहब ने, उसमें दिखाया है कि हिंदू फैमिलीज में ज्यादा बच्चे होते हैं, मुसलमान फैमिलीज में कम. तो मुझे बताइए, इसको पोलराइजिंग क्यों कह रही है आपकी पार्टी और इसे कम्युनल पॉलिटिक्स क्यों
पोलराइजिंग नहीं कह रहे हैं? जिस कूड़ेदान में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का संकल्प पत्र 2017 का पड़ा हुआ है, अगर आप उस कूड़ेदान से इसे निकालें, संबित पात्रा निकालें, तो उसमें से एक पॉइंट भी इंप्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ है. ये खोखली नीति है. ये ऐसी सरकार है जो कहती है जून तक 1 करोड़ उत्तर प्रदेश में रोजगार देने वाले थे.
डॉक्टर पात्रा, the goalposts are being changed. अच्छा, खोखले लोग तो ये रोज ही सुबह आप उठकर कह सकते हैं, लेकिन डॉक्टर पात्रा, पॉपुलेशन बिल पर खोखलापन, पॉपुलेशन बिल पर कहना पोलराइजिंग है, आज उसके कोई तथ्य सामने नहीं आ रहे हैं. उल्टा आपके पुराने प्रोमिसेस गिनाए जा रहे हैं, जो एक अलग डिबेट है. रिस्पॉन्ड टू मिस्टर घनश्याम तिवारी. And I just 30 seconds before I end this debate.
See, Navika, all the three spokespersons from the other side are intelligent people, and so when they had a dearth of facts, they really changed their goalposts, went to Corona, went to employment, etc. In 1993, in fact, MS Swaminathan became the chairperson of the 9th Five-Year Plan Population Policy Drafting Committee, and thereafter it was, the population policy was formed in 1994 and finally reviewed in 1999, launched in 2000, and in fact, the stamp of parliament it carried in 2000. There were three goals: temporary objective, middle-term objective and the long-term objective. The long-term objective was to stabilize the population by 2045. And this is what Uttar Pradesh is doing, since its national average birth rate is more than the national average of India.
Then why is the opposition today contesting this fact and calling this draft policy a polarizing policy, when none of the arguments really stand the test of polarization? Is it just opposition against Yogi Adityanath for the sake of opposition? That's the question, and that's the debate on the other side. Well, thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on this Debate number 1, taking a short break, but all those who missed Yogi Adityanath's interview with me yesterday, the best parts of that interview coming up on the other side.